recently, including Taiwan, is much, much better than when the dual citizenship eligibility to vote law was passed before the last national election, 2004. The turnout is much better now, much bigger. So I guess the media messages coming from you, as well as from other programs and through the multimedia emanating from the Philippines, is reaching them. In the main, a majority po, nakakatanggap ng mga mensahe natin. Now, what else can they do? Well, they must be aware of the issues in the Philippines. And the issues are also well discussed in various programs, in the various broadcast media, as well as in the print and the internet multimedia. Ang unang-unang tutukan nila ay yung mga issues. In other words, what are the problems that are most important to them that must be resolved as quickly as possible. And then, having focused on the issues, who are the candidates at national level who are best qualified to resolve those problems? And those candidates themselves must also be more caring, sharing, and daring than our common Filipinos, including overseas workers. Now, third is beyond just focusing on issues and selecting the candidates who can best resolve the issues that are of highest priority to them. They must themselves be as self-reliant and as self-supporting as can be. I said in the beginning that overseas workers are mostly like this anyway. They are not some of the people around here remaining in our urban centers and even out there in the countryside, or is still going like this. Sa kanto-kanto, selling chewing gum or cigarettes or sampaglitas or tuwalya, whatever. Those that went abroad were daring enough to look for new opportunities and build a new life for themselves and their families. And so, what does that mean really in terms of actual practices? Abroad, whether they like it or not, our workers are exposed to the new culture that operates around the world now, regardless of nationality, and that is yung tinatawag na best practices. What are the best practices in healthcare, in operating or managing a home or a restaurant or transportation or providing services? Meron yan, best practices. Pag-aralan nila yan and apply it to their own lives. Meron din yung savings program na nasabi ko, but savings is okay if you apply it also for the welfare of the family, especially education. That is the basic weapon of mass upliftment, as we call it here in our foundation, in the weapon of mass destruction. The exact opposite is WMU. WMU. Yeah, education, especially basic education, the education of the little kid who is not even at grade 1.
Education builds empowerment, and the empowerment actually creates in you a sense of nationalism and patriotism and pride, which I would like to hope to instill to Filipinos abroad. But as a last question, for those Filipinos abroad, what is your message to, especially the people that I've encountered? I've met Filipinos who are very cynical about the Philippines, and they say, wala na daw pag-asa. But I'm one of those people who don't believe in that. I believe the opposite. So what is your message to them?
Even if you're abroad, you must look at the Philippines still as our motherland. And in one of the books that I gave you, there is a very inspiring point there by a retired, he's still in the service, Court of Appeals Justice. Magda Magdalene ang pangalan niya. His father was a national artist in music. And this Justice Leon said, I am proud to be a Filipino because there is no other place in the world that has been so blessed by the good Lord with the bounties of nature. We should be thankful for that. And a democratic society. Instead of being in a country where there is so much repression and hardship. Of course, there is hardship here. But we must look at the more optimistic side of it. We are not the worst country in the world. And therefore must make the best out of what is given to us by the good Lord.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Okay. Kaya natin to.
And that was my interview with former President Fidel V. Ramos. So I wasn't able to answer your questions on U.S. immigration because of tonight's special episode. Remember, you can still text, call, or post your queries. I'll be addressing your questions next week. And to those OFWs out there who are abroad, I leave you with a quote by a student named Patricia Evangelista, and she said in her speech in London, she said, sometimes leaving is not a matter of choice, but coming back is. And that's Crossing Borders Tonight. I'm Attorney Mike Templo. Thanks for watching.